Hello humanoids, welcome to Halfling Hobbies. I'm Halfling Hannah, and high magic campaigns are so much fun, but they have a whole different set of issues and problems as well as solutions than low magic or general fantasy settings. And of course, I'm talking about Eberron. Eberron is an incredibly high magic campaign. It says that magic is literally a part of everyday life. But have you thought about what everyday life might be like if you had access to magic? And that is exactly what this video is going to be all about. And even if you're not using Eberron, if you're just looking to do a homebrew campaign and you want it to be really high magic, these are some things you're really going to want to think through before you throw your players into that campaign. Coming from a low magic system and then going into Eberron, it was like, oh my gosh, overwhelming with the amount of things that magic could do that I simply wasn't having magic do, which kind of took away from the coolness of a high magic setting. So we're going to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to high magic settings and think through the societal problems that can be solved through magic and the societal problems that are created by magic. So here we go. Alright humanoids, before we get started, my 1,000 subs special is coming up, hopefully very, very soon. We are over 800, we're almost to 900 at the recording of this video, and I could not be more excited. So finally, I get to tell you a little bit about what we're planning. We are planning a Halfling house party. This means we're going to have food, we're going to have games, and we're going to have giveaways up to $100. So what we are going to have is some of the things that we're going to give away is like dice box. We're going to give away some D&D books, and the grand prize, you'll have to show up to see. More information on that coming up as we get closer to 1,000 subs. So let's get into this idea of what does a high magic society actually look like? This is the question that I would like you veteran DMs to answer in the comments down below. I want these videos to be the best resources for new DMs possible, which means I need your help. Yeah, I can cover a lot of stuff in these videos, but I don't think of everything. And the more minds we have on this, the more creative the things that we can do. So down in the comments below, I want you to answer this question. What do you think is the biggest game changer in a high magic campaign? So think about coming from low magic going into high magic or general fantasy to high magic. What is the biggest game changer in a high magic campaign? Answer that in the comments down below so that other DMs can have even more information about this really big topic. That one wasn't even close. All right, so let's get into this. There are 5 major societal problems / issues that are solved by a high magic campaign that we as DMs don't allow to be solved. There's way more than just these 5, and the last one is kind of a catch-all category for just random things that I could think of. But these are the 5 major ones that we stick to the low magic, we stick to the fantasy side of things instead of allowing magic to solve these problems. And the first one is communications. Communications should be simple in a high magic world. I mean, you have tons of relatively low magic spells that are all about communications. You know what I want to see? What I am desperate to see in any Eberron campaign other than my own? Sending booths. There should be sending booths everywhere. Think like telephone booths, but with sending. So basically you can create this booth and wizards can pour in the sending spell into it that resets every day. You put in a gold coin and you get to send sending to one person, and you just have to know, what they look like. So you should be able to call whoever you want, and then they can send back. Now, the catch for this is that there's only a certain number of sending spells in each booth for each day, which means some of them could be out of sending spells, or your players could actually run out of sending spells at that booth before they're finished talking to whoever it is that they want to talk about. But this is an easy way to fix communication. Sending stones should be readily available. There are a plethora of things that should make communication way simpler in a high magic campaign. You should be able to talk to whoever it is that you want to talk to, give updates to the crime lord that you're doing a job for. You should be able to do this stuff in a high magic campaign without issue. Number 2, one of my pet peeves, sanitation. So sewers shouldn't be a thing in Eberron. They just shouldn't. You should have toilets that when you push a button, it casts prestidigitation. Prestidigitation is a cantrip, which means you can cast it pretty much all day long continually. You just have to have like a 1-minute cooldown, and it cleans up entirely an area. That's what a toilet should be. That's a magical toilet. And you shouldn't need a sewer system if you have that at your disposal. Because, I think that's just a better system. So what I try to think of is, in the real world, if we had access to the spells and the magic of the D&D universe, what would we use it for? And I guarantee someone would make a prestidigitoilet. Prestidigitoilets, that's what I'm calling them now. Also, think of things like you go into a bar or a tavern, there should be a boot scrape that operates the same way. You put your boot on the boot scrape and it cleans off your shoes. No more muddy shoes in the tavern. There should be all kinds of little sanitation and cleaning products and things just like this. You should have sweeping brooms. There should be no need for someone to be sweeping the shop. There should be a broom constantly doing that, right? So sanitation is easily solved in a high magic world. No need for sewers. Sorry if you want to do a sewer dive. That's just my opinion. You can throw it in there if you want to. Golly. Next up, we have marketing. So marketing you may not consider that necessarily a issue or a problem, but any business owner would definitely consider it an issue because it's hard to get your name out there. It's difficult to get people to come to your shop. However, in a high magic setting with things like minor and major illusion, there's a whole realm of marketing open to taverns and businesses of all kinds. And I don't feel like it gets used enough. Could you imagine each little shop having like a little scene played out every 5 minutes or so with major or minor illusion, or even prestidigitation, or any of those spells that kind of create images? This could be used in such a cool way, especially in cities. Think like Times Square, only with 3D magical images that play and showcase the products or what they have. Perhaps it's a picture of the shop owner that pops up and gives a little message to tell when somebody walks by their shop. This is a really fun way to tell your players what your city or your village has to offer in a high magic campaign setting that I just don't think a lot of DMs really think about or take advantage of. You can also do this with job boards. They should be able to automatically update using magical means. There should be more of these things available, more information about the city, about shops, about everything like that available in a high magic campaign. Next up, healthcare. So this is one that we kind of get right in high magic settings, but I don't think we go far enough. I wouldn't think that there would be any need for a doctor in a high magic campaign setting. I mean, with things like cure wounds and you have the Paladin's Lay On of Hands, I just don't see a need for a doctor other than in like really small thwarps, villages, things like that, where they don't have as much access to perhaps some of the magic that the cities would have. But in the city, you have healers. You don't really have doctors. You just have healers that go around casting cure wounds on people all day. So healthcare would actually be a lot easier in a city, except that they would probably charge a lot more for it because the only way to access healthcare would be through the different religious temples. And you might have a couple of them that would do it for free, but they would be so overwhelmed with need, it would be unlikely that they could just take care of everybody in a city coming them for their needs. They would have a certain number of people that they could help in a day, and that's it. Other than that, you'd have to go to one of the major temples where they offer this kind of stuff, like cure disease, lay on of hands, and all that. You'd have to go to one of those major temples to be able to get access to healthcare. But that being said, it would be immediate, and you wouldn't have to worry about diseases nearly as much, at least not in the middle to high ends of the town. Maybe in the lower slums area, you still have some of that because they can't afford to go to the temples. And so you have some good Samaritans, monks and stuff from some of the places that might go down there to help people, but they would be overwhelmed really quickly. So that is healthcare solved by magic as long as you have money. I suck at this. Okay. And the last one we're going to talk about, issues solved, is modern conveniences. If you have access to magic, why in the world wouldn't you have tons of modern conveniences in your D&D campaign? And I'm not talking about making everything like super modern like it is nowadays. There's still that fantasy flavor to it because it's done through magical means, not through our technological advances, which is the whole point of Eberron. It's like if we were high tech only with magic. Still, you could have things like automatic doors. You can have heating and air conditioning. You can go even further, and you can, with Create Water, you can create desert irrigation systems, water towers for indoor plumbing, being able to control how hot, how cold things are through really controlled spells. You could have multi-climate growing areas where you can grow things that only grow in the desert and things that only grow in the mountains in the same facility that's all automated in the city to be able to provide crops to your people there. Like, you can have a vast and dizzying array of environments and resources and goods available in a city that you wouldn't be able to unless you had access to magic. I'm also thinking modern conveniences like self-lacing boots and lacing armor. Did you know that technically to don and doff armor, to put on and to take off armor, requires time in D&D. There's actually a time set on it. I think it's 10 minutes for heavy armor to put on heavy armor in the morning. So being able to just say, no, it's magical and it goes like that. You can put it on in 1 minute. I mean, modern conveniences like that should definitely be a part of any high magical campaign. So also, along with the previous question, tell me, what cool magical item that is a modern convenience do you think should be in a high magical campaign that we don't normally put there? I'd love to know. Ah, so close. And there you have it, humanoids. Those are 5 major societal problems that having a high magic society actually fixes. You can kind of get around them. And like I said, there are a whole lot of other things like transportation that goes in the modern conveniences that I probably didn't mention. But those are the problem solvers. So what do you think? Did I mention what you thought was the biggest game changer in a high magic society, or did you have something that I didn't mention, or did you think of something while I was talking? Make sure you leave those comments down in the comments below to help out DMs who come to this video in the future. And until next time, my friends, may your game have advantage. Halfling Hannah here, signing out.